Hello, beautiful people. My name is Kristen. Thank you for stopping by my channel. Today I'm going to start a vlog that is unboxing and organizing all my books. I just moved this past month and I now have all my books in one room, unless it's a book that is a work book that I use at work and then it's in my office. And I think the only other book that is not in this room is the one that I'm currently reading, Brandon Sanderson's Rhythm of War, which I am still reading. But otherwise, these are the books here that I got for either my birthday haul or my bookstore haul, which I already showed. I can link that below. And then I will flip it around and kind of show you what I have. And then this will probably be too long of a video to put all in one, so I might break it up a little, but we're gonna just see how it goes. My plan is to, since I've got all my books together, I'm gonna unbox them and then resort them and figure out where they're gonna live. Never gotten really to do that, so here we go. So on my bed, these are books that I had traveled with, that I had read in the month of December. These are ones I'm going to take to the used bookstore. These are the ones my friend Michelle just gave me. These are ones that I've read since I've moved, but I'm keeping. And these are ones I have not read that I was carrying with me in case I got to them this month. Ha ha ha. Yeah, right. Oh, and these are my two keepsake books that I traveled with me because I wouldn't want them to be lost by the movers. This one I talked about before, that special with the plays of Bernard Shaw and then the poems of Robert Service, both antique books that aren't worth a lot, but they're worth a little. Over here is where I'm going to do some filming, so these bookshelves are going to hold books that are my very, very favorites and I might want to feature on my channel. And then these are the boxes of books. So I have 13 boxes, although this one over here is also my keepsake paperwork, so there's not many books in that one, but it's really 12 boxes of books. So we're gonna get started on that and see where we go. Oh, and then this bookshelf is beautiful. This is where my collectible ones and rare books and Shakespeare books and all that, those plan to go there. I also have one shelf that's also the same length as this in the guest room that I'm going to put recent reads that I really liked and might want to reread and keep those in the guest room just in case somebody wants to borrow one. So we will start and dig in. This is the one that's supposed to be from the master bedroom. Contains my bedroom Bible and some keepsake paperwork and whatnot. Little journal notes that I have here. My dream journal that my friend Michelle gave me, so that will stay in the bedroom with my Kristen bookmark. And oh, here's a Christmas card that someone sent me last year. Michelle, here's the one you sent me last year, because it must have been with a journal. And VHS tape. Oh, several VHS tapes. Here's my Bible, my bedroom Bible as I call it, the one that stays by my bed. And this is a scroll of all the national parks that got sent to me in my Coffee and a Classic, which I like having a list of all the national parks. So here's keepsake recorded VHS, which I really need to get converted to digital. And then a Mother's Day card from my husband. So a lot of these paperwork, I'm just gonna get a more plastic tote and file them in the closet. Yeah, these are all, oh, there's my old canceled passport. So the rest of this entire box from here down is really keepsake papers and cards and actually nothing that I need to access as far as doing something legally with. It's just keepsake. So I'm going to put all the rest of these little keepsake items, keep out the journal, and actually I think I'm going to store the VHS and I'll just know that they're in here when I'm ready to save them. So that was easy box. This is just going to transfer into one of the Rubbermaid totes and go into the storage. So let's get another book box. This one's pretty heavy. This one's definitely books, and it says TBR books. So they should be a whole box of books that I have never read. Which my TBR books, I didn't say, but my chest of drawer dresser, the tall one, I stack it pretty much all the way to the ceiling with my TBR, and I try to kind of put the stacks like classics and nonfiction and fiction. That way I can look at them all, see which one I want, and then just pull, because I want to do at least one of each of those categories each month. So I really like that. Plus, there's just something really gratifying and satisfying to me about seeing stacks full of books. That's probably stressful to some people, but not me. So, Name of the Wind. Ooh, I'm gonna have to turn down that ring light. It's kind of a darker day, so actually it's not. I don't know why it's not so sunny. It's just cloudy. Let me see if I can adjust the light. So it's bright, but not too bright. J.B. Robb. This is The Papillion, which is supposedly a movie that I should see too. Another James Patterson, Jack and Jill. Oh, I was going to read this one at Christmas. Rescue Merry Gentlemen. Well, not going to read that at Christmas. Christmas is in 2 days. Catch and Kill. I think this is a nonfiction, is it not? Yeah, this is a nonfiction. I'm going to go ahead and start separating these fiction, because all the other ones are fiction. This one's fiction. No, this one says it's a memoir. This is a Dollar Tree Japanese romance memoir. And this one was another Dollar Tree running nonfiction. Reasons why I run long distance. Dare to Be Kind. This is the awesome story. You may have seen this woman, Lizzie, who shares her testimony about being bullied. This is actually nonfiction about Rin Tin Tin. Girl Who Smiled. Beads. Story of, which African country is it? 7 different African countries. She was originally from Rwanda and trying to escape the massacre there. Dark August, a novel. Pretty sure this one's fiction. My Brother's Shadow. Nation Divided. World War II. The Jazz Bird. Dark Matter. This is fiction. To the Birdhouse. Had to shut the door. Look Out There Essays. This is nonfiction. The Golden Hour. This is fiction. The Long Run, a memoir. Another running memoir. Clouds Roll Away. I think this one was sent to me in one of those mystery blind date novels, but I haven't read it yet. The Last Time They Met. Okay, I'm gonna have to start another stack. They're getting too tall. Tolkien's Modern Readings. This one was a gift that I need to read. Nonfiction. We'll start another nonfiction pile. World History, Questions and Answers. This was a Dollar Tree, but I look forward to reading that. Nonfiction. This one I've actually read all the way through twice. It's Healing, I think it's Healthy Are You Devotions by Katie Farrell. And this has recipes that are really good that I've cooked and eaten, and it has really beautifully written devotions. So I keep that one. I'm not sure why it's in my TBR, but A Heart in the Body of the World. I've heard such good things about this book. I should put this one high on my fiction TBR. What's this say? The After. I don't know. This is a book in a trilogy, though, and it's not the first one. But it was a Dollar Tree, so I picked it up. Beneath the Scarlet Sky. I've been wanting to read this one for a long time. Mark Sullivan. Haven't read it yet. This one is a Jude Devereaux, First Impressions. Ooh, shiny. That was a library book. Romance. Madness is Better Than Defeat. A novel, so fiction. That's a Dollar Tree. There's another Dollar Tree. Every time you go away. I think this sounded like a really cutesy romance that I could read during February. It's the only time I really read romance. Empire of Time. This sounded good. This sounded like a fun kind of, fantasy, historical fantasy, if you will. That was Dollar Tree too. Then The World According to Mr. Rogers. I haven't read this one yet, but I've read like 4 other books about Fred Rogers or biographies, so that one I still need to read. In the Shadow of Statues, A White Southerner Confronts History. This one I'm really interested in reading because I've been really reflecting upon changing names and, just how do we preserve and even build upon and expand history. So that one will probably go near the top of my nonfiction reads. This one I got at the Dollar Tree. Valiant Ambition, George Washington, Benedict Arnold, and the Fate of the American Revolution. Same author wrote the book The Mayflower, which was so good. So I'm looking forward to reading that one. The Fact of a Body. This is a memoir, nonfiction, true crime, Dollar Tree. Lots of Dollar Tree, nonfiction. So that's that box. Lots of good TBR. So I'm going to stack those over on my dresser TBR and then go to the next box. Okay. This box says books and knickknacks, and it says library on it, which I'm thinking this might be part of my library haul. So let's see what we got in this one. Oh yes, very much knickknacks. I've got makeup sponges and more keepsake cards to add to those, and lint rolls, and a little seagrass thing, Valentine's birds. This is basically all the stuff that was in the top of my dresser. So let me pull this out that is unbook related, and I'll put it in the back in my dresser, and then I'll show you the books, which I do see in there. And this is why unpacking takes so long. You've got to keep going all over the house, finding the homes for things. So let me get closer and show you. These are the library, just like I thought that I did. So I just did a library haul, which I can link below, so I won't go through anything beyond just showing this. Don't I have this copy already? I already had this copy, so this one's going to the giveaway pile. But these are all the ones I got at the library. Oh, this one I got in my Ireland Wordy Traveler box. The Lemon Tree, that was library. This is a classic Dr. Zhivago. The Poe Shadow sounded really good. Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm. Nice older copy. The Man in the Iron Mask. Haven't read that. Goes in my classic TBR. This is one that was written the year I came out. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Never read it. Zen Cat, City of Oranges, another one about Israel, Palestine. Here's the Wheel of Time first book. Still haven't watched any of them. James Patterson, Old Man in the Sea. I've read this in school. Probably not going to read it because I've decided Hemingway is not for me, but I wanted to own it. Here's the Unabridged Complete Works of Poe. So I can read the ones that I haven't read. And then this is a copy that I already have, but I wanted a hardback copy and I have paperback, so I'm going to donate my paperback and keep the hardback. And Vinegar Girl, Ann Tyler, this one sounded really good. Fiction, Library Hall. So I'm going to put those in mostly the TBR stacks, and then I'll be back with the next box. This box is, I think, mostly DVDs that I wanted to keep because I thought maybe we'd watch again, which, considering we don't have internet or cable right now, we may want to watch them now. Sooner rather than later, right? So let's see what is in this box with my DVDs. These are like keepsake, beautiful antique books. The Robe. I haven't read this, but I didn't buy it to read it. I bought it because I liked it. This is one of my childhood books. It's Charlotte's Web, hardback. I mean, I had this since I was a teeny little girl. One of my all-time favorites, the library book, nonfiction, about the burning of the LA library. Relax with Yoga. Again, one I wasn't going to read, but I just loved the little copy of it. Ooh, I'm going to sneeze. There's dust. The Return of the King, which I've read. Excuse me. But not this copy, but I just thought it was cool to have an antique copy. This one I have read and love, The Fox and the Star. It is a beautiful, beautiful illustrated story that adults would love, but also children. A book on the Book of Kells. I've read through most of this on my top of my bucket list. Target practice like rifles and shooting because I married a hunter, and this was an antique book on the art of archery and target practice. Little knick-knack candle holder. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, this was my grandmother's. It's a beautiful soapstone. And his legs have broken. I'm hoping maybe he can be glued back. We have one wine glass that had broken, and this is only the second thing in our entire truck of stuff that's broken. But I'm thinking if we get some high-powered super glue and are just really gentle with him. But I know my grandmother brought this back from one of her trips over at China. So let me put that down. At least it looks like a clean break. Let's see, I bubble wrapped it, but obviously not good enough. Yeah, maybe it bumped against the hardness of these, which were bubble wrapped next to it. Drats. Okay. And then the rest are DVDs. I'm not sure y'all are interested in DVDs. Lots of Lord of the Rings and the entire series of Lost, if you are interested. There's, all the classics in there. Okay, next box of books. My favorite ones that I've actually read almost 2 times through, the Tolkien Hobbit and Lord of the Rings collection. So that will probably go over in my filming area. This is the paperback version of Studs Terkel Working, which was made into a musical. This is the one I read. I may keep it because it's cute and it's small. It doesn't take up a lot of space. Then I have all my great uncle's books of Shakespeare. They're real fragile, so I'm going to put this one down. That's the entire stack over here, so I will carefully take those out and put them into the keepsake cabinet. I have my coffee candle from JB Style. This came out of one of my book. I think Huckleberry Finn maybe came with that one. And then this is the Book of Kells candle that I got from Mythology Candles. My secondary women's Bible. Got really pretty binding there. Les Miserables, which I read this particular book version. That exact book that is, all summer, mostly in a pool, so sometimes like on a raft floating in a pool, so it's a little bit warped from water. Big Little Lies on audio, one of my favorites. Gonna put that with my 2 other audios that I'm keeping. It has to be a really good audio for me to keep it. And then some more keepsake ones. The Museum Murder. Pretty. Oh, this was actually belonged to my mother. Her name is written in it. It says 4th grade, 1954. Every Child's Pilgrim's Progress. Oh gosh, this is super old. Got to be careful with it. Don't know what it is. Oh, it's upside down. That's what it is. The House of the Seven Gables. Don't know that I've read that either. Not reading that copy though. A collection of poems by Tennyson. Put that in my classic TBR. The Poems and Plays of Robert Browning. This was one of my childhood books, Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm, and I did read it, but I have that newer copy that I'm going to put in my TBR that I'd like to reread as an adult because I haven't read it since I was a child. Call of the Wild. Jack London. I have not read this, but again, I'm probably not going to read this copy. It's falling apart, but I bought it at a library sale. Just wanted to have it because it was cool and a classic. History of the Presbyterian Church in Texas. Because, you know, that's where I am. Cute copy of Wizard of Oz. I have read The Wizard of Oz, but not this copy. I did not keep my copy as a child. Under the Sea Wind. I think I just bought this one because I thought it was so pretty, but never read it. Bought it because I liked it. Then I kept a couple, Richard Bach. I used to be obsessed with him and have every single book he had, but then I fell out of love with him, so I kept 3. I kept Illusions, 1, and The Bridge Across Forever. Just because I still think they're good books, but I won't get into it. It's a metaphysical kind of thing, and then I decided that all of his philosophy was kind of BS. But sometimes it's still a good story, you know what I'm saying? This is Shakespeare, just a Shakespeare, really cool, really old book. Here's some hangers that I obviously took down that I'm not even sure that I need them because I bought a bunch of hangers to hang everything when I got here. These are also from my childhood that I think were my mom's previously. Yeah, they're my mom's, 1954, Little Maid of Narragansett Bay. I don't think I've read this one. I mean, I might have when I was a little when she gave them to me, but I don't remember the story at all. And then this one's Anne of Green Gables, which I have reread as an adult and love. Yeah, and the rest of the Shakespeare books. So let me put these up mostly in the keepsake rare book cabinet, and then we'll get another box. Okay, I think this is 6 more boxes of mostly TBR. Love and Luck. This is another library one. Songs of Innocence and Experience. This is William Blake. Totally want to read that. That was high on my TBR that I didn't get to. And then this is Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. I've read that. Here's from the library book Snoopy vintage collection of cartoons. That's fantastic. The Odyssey. Actually read this exact collector copy. These are all Bronte sisters, and I have read all 4 of those. Woman in White, one of my very all-time favorite classics. Read this exact one. Onyx Horse book end. Had that since I was a little girl. The other one broke, but that one's hanging in there. Didn't break in the move, so I was braced. Cranford. This one I read. It was okay. Liked it okay. Tales from 1001 Nights. So all that 1001 book tag, I have read these. That's my copy. I think it's beautiful. The Passion Translation of the Bible. My sister sent me this copy. I have looked up certain passages in it, but technically I've not read that translation all the way. The Hound of Baskerville by author Conan Doyle. Also wrote the Sherlock Holmes, but that one's his complete larger novel, and it's super good. It is super good. Don Quixote. I enjoyed this actually more than I thought I was going to. Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, they're both in there. Liked them. Lady Chatterley's Lover. This was, I had a hard time getting into this, but I appreciate the fact that this was really gutsy to write some of this kind of more risque women taking charge, romance, style, all that. You know what? I'm remembering I did read this one. These are the ones I've read. So there's another poem one that I haven't read yet, but this one I read because, yeah. That one I did read. And Jabberwocky I did read. And Adventures of Huck Finn read. Beautiful copy. Fairy Tales of Stories of Hans Christian Andersen. I'm pretty sure that I have read all of these. I think this is the Little Mermaid and all that, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken. I sometimes do get them mixed up, to be perfectly honest and fair. Here's my childhood copy of Goodnight Moon. Read it to my boys, so I keep it in time of comfort. I just thought this was a cute little book with scriptures, just filled with different scriptures to bring comfort. It was at the Dollar Tree, and I'm sweating. It's a lot of work to move. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I'll probably need to break it into a couple, but this is why it takes so long to move. Audubon's American Bird book. This was not from my family, but my grandmother did give me a bird book that I kept that is ancient, and she loved them so much. So this reminded me of her. That was a library find. The Nativity. This is an actual one that I actually read with my boys growing up, so that's now special because of that. The Alamo Illustrated History. I've read a little bit of this, but I have not read the whole thing. Look forward to reading the whole thing. This is a new purchase that my father got for me when we just recently visited the Alamo this past summer. So that was in July, and this is December, so it's been sitting there for a while. And then this beautiful book is the Book of Kells, talking about it, having different pictures from it. Again, super high on my bucket list. I will find someplace special for that to live. And that's all the books in that box. So let me try to put those on the shelf or in stacks or in piles, and we'll undo another box. Another box. It's a good problem to have so many books, y'all. So, it says it came out of my main bedroom. Oh, yep. This looks like books I have read, but wanted to reread at some point. So I'll just briefly hold them up. All of these I should have already done reviews some time ago on. Virginia Woolf, The Waves. At any point, if you want to leave me a comment below and ask me about them, that would be fine. Grimm's Fairy Tales. So did read those. Surviving Twin, a memoir. Really, really good. About a twin with Asperger's. Love, Treachery, and Other Terrors, another author read book, as well as this one, Wilting at Jen Mills. And The Briefcase by Jackson Kerr. Bob Barker's memoir he wrote himself, very funny. One to Watch. I thought this was adorably cute. Might reread that sometime. This one, The Address by Fiona Davis. Really liked it. I'm not sure if it's old enough to technically be an official classic, but I was calling it a classic. And then here's a bookmark that was in there. Scythe. I have got to read the second one. This was so good. This was so good. I just haven't bought the second one. I got a gift card for my birthday for Barnes & Nobles. I'm going to look for it. I'm definitely going to look for that. The Angel's Game. This was the second in the Forgotten Library. Maybe I can find the first one and put them together. Curious Charms of Arthur Pepper. Love. Cute little sweet fiction book. The Alice Network, Kate Quinn. This is really great, based on historical truth about a women's spy network. It's, I think, a fictitious story, but based on real historical characters. I saved, this is my favorite Ellen Hildebrand series. Really, I mean, any one book maybe isn't like stellar 5-star, but I think the whole series together, just the development of the family, just makes it my favorite ever by her. Brandon Sanderson's Warbreaker. Love, of course, Brandon Sanderson, all things Brandon Sanderson. Here's Winter Stroll, which is also in that same genre. All About Eggs. This was a Dollar Tree find, nonfiction, all about eggs, not only recipes and how to cook them, but just like historically, mythology, art, the Fabergé eggs. It was so good. I just loved this book. Madame Bovary, sweet little old school copy of that. And it was a pretty good book. The Emerald Mile. This was really good documentary writing style about trying to do the fastest run. Well, the fastest run through the Grand Canyon. 52-week inspirational journal. This is also an author review. That was a super good thing, and I actually did journal in it. So it was a fair review. Cork Dork, one of my very all-time favorite nonfictions, about a editor writer who became what do you call it, sommelier, wine expert. Crow's Feet, Life as We Age. This is a collection of multiple people around my age and all the way up to 150 to 100, talking about aging. Really, really thoughtful and beautiful essays. Black Rednecks and the White Liberals. Thomas Sowell, economics professor who kind of was born and raised black man in the South, moved to the North, has really, really fascinating, well-spoken descriptions of how to think about economics and to think a lot about the racial issues. So this book I found particularly just engaging and challenging and beautiful. The End of Youth Ministry, Andrew Root, probably my most favorite modern day theologians. Love his writing style and philosophy built into youth ministry. It's blowing out the cover, but 84 Taurine Crossroad. This is a series of actual letters between a woman and a bookstore. Really, really cute classic. This is Chance, nonfiction classic, written about the earthquake in Alaska in 1964. So really, really cool, particularly because it was a woman radio journalist and women were kind of looked down upon as journalists, and then she became the voice of the earthquake for basically the whole world. That's kind of a good summation of that if you're interested in any of that. North American Wildlife, beautiful old copy that is an actual leaf that someone pressed in it. I actually got this at a library sale, but just love it. It's got actual leaves pressed in it to the pages of the different. I just think somebody really loved this and treasured it, and now I love it and treasure it. Probably will not actually sit down and read that. I'm not really that interested, I discovered. I'm more interested in animals and those histories, but not so much in the plants. I feel a little guilty because I love plants. I love sitting in nature, but selected plays of Eugene O'Neill. Yeah, very, very cool. And I'm looking, there's like actual playbills in here. I mean, how cool is that? It's really, really cool, y'all. I actually do not recognize any of the names of the plays in this. I was going to look because I do know a couple of his plays, but not any of those. Kristen Hanna's The Four Winds. This got the Book of the Month Club's top pick, and it is beautiful. It is a sad, but based on historical fiction of a sad event, of the Dust Bowl, the immigration from the middle of the country to California during the Dust Bowl, and just the hardships of all of that, and some of the prejudice and racial tensions going on in that time. It's just beautiful, beautiful character written. Not a lot of action plot, but beautiful, beautiful story. People We Meet on Vacation. Surprisingly, this is one of my very favorite romance kind of things. It's not like, for me, it's a 5-star for a romance. Not a 5-star overall, but 5-star for a romance. It's a friends to lovers trope. Winter Counts. This is a fantastic novel looking at the Indian reservation up in Rosebud and Pine Creek, about the tragedy of the massacres of Wounded Knee, the history there, the depression, what people are going through, and kind of a vigilante who's trying to keep his own law and order. The Vanishing Half. I really, really enjoyed this. Twins, separated, having different lives, coming together, learning deep things. The final revival of Opal and Nev. Really, really funsy, very much in tune with Daisy Jones, which I haven't unpacked yet, but I'm sure I kept that one. This book, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. I'm sure you've been seeing or, saw a lot of the quotes that have been taken out of it. They're all over social media now. Just a beautiful, beautiful book. Children can read it, but adults can read it. Those who are going through grief or loss, it's particularly meaningful. If you're going through hardship, a divorce, something of that nature, this book is just really powerful. It's powerful. A little bitty copy of the Old Testament. Just bought it because it's a cute copy. The book with no pictures, but you read it out loud and it has funny words and expressions. Another little book that is beautiful that I got at the library sale, The Greatest Thing in the World by Drummond. We'll never read it because it's old and falling apart, but beautiful. Here's an introduction to birds. So this is another one of those that I bought based on my memory of my grandmother. And, y'all. Came out of my little book. That's sad. Okay. Gotta be careful. The Secret Life of Cats. And it's just a book. There's a little piece of my thing, but how pretty. Gorgeous, gorgeous pictures. And I probably will read this actually, because it probably has some interesting information. So, another box down, y'all. Let's find places to put these so I can get another box. So, there are so many boxes to do. It ended up being a total of 70 minutes, so we're going to split it into 2 parts. I'm going to wrap this one up, say Merry Christmas, and I will be hopefully getting them both edited this holiday weekend. And you can watch the rest of the haul soon. I appreciate you taking the time and hanging out with me. Take care now.